Star-Crossed, the true story of Wild Bill and Calamity Jane. Written by Pamela Perrygoulardt. Exterior, trail to Fort Laramie, Wyoming, night. Covered in blood, slumped on a walking horse, Calamity Jane sips from a small flask. The gates to Fort Laramie are open. She passes through. Interior, guardhouse, Fort Laramie, Wyoming, continuous. A uniformed officer comes to her aid. She can barely speak.
I need the commanding officer.
She has 2 black eyes and is missing her 2 front teeth.
Who are you?
Indians are on the warpath. Colonel Custer is dead.
She loses consciousness, falls off her horse. Interior, Fort Laramie, guardhouse, day. Calamity sleeps on an iron cot with no mattress. Her hair looks like it's been cut with a buzz saw. A large bandage covers her wound. She wakes up from a commotion outside.
It's Wild Bill.
Wild
Bill
Bill.
Hickock is here.
Wild Bill Hickock is here. It's Wild Bill.
Calamity peers out the barred window of the adobe house. Wild Bill Hickock, 36, tall, agile, with a manly stride and broad shoulders, appears courageous and cunning. 2 navy colts with ivory handles turned forward for the twist draw are stashed in the red sash around his waist. He wears dark glasses that conceal dazzling blue eyes. Wild Bill has entered the fort with 2 wagons and a small posse. Calamity watches while an officer speaks with Wild Bill privately. Wild Bill's face shows distress and concern. He walks with the officer toward the guardhouse. Calamity scrambles to make herself presentable. Unable to suppress her excitement, she calls out as he enters.
Bill! Wild Bill!
Wild Bill Hickock looks over.
Kindly quit shooting your mouth off. I'm speaking with someone.
Wild Bill has a pioneer twang, but it's not distracting. He turns away.
Sakes alive, is that a woman?
Calamity rattles the locked door of her cell.
Officer, release me immediately. I ain't done nothing wrong.
It's against the law for a lady to wear pants, missy.
I'm a scout for the U.S. Army. I was issued these pants by Lieutenant Colonel Custer himself, along with my hat.
She waves the hat out of the cell bars. The officer and Wild Bill look at each other, laugh.
You'll need more than a conch cover to prove that.
I was with General Crook at Rosebud.
Then you must be a prairie nymph. Now be quiet.
Calamity Jane sits down, dejected. Wild Bill comes over.
Seriously, you say you're a scout for Colonel Custer?
After he was shot dead, I protected his body from destruction.
Oh, don't be distressing us with tomfoolery. Colonel Custer's a dear friend of mine.
I was the one who threw herself on top of his body when the warrior woman was gonna cut him to pieces.
Where'd you say this was?
A few days ago. At Little Bighorn.
How'd I know you ain't lying?
Calamity takes off her hat.
Indian tried to scout me.
Are you sure that's not from a drunken brawl? I smell spirits.
She pulls a flask from her jacket, hands it to Wild Bill.
I took this from Colonel's pocket.
He looks at it, then opens the lid for a sniff.
Took a few swigs. For my pain.
Wild Bill walks out of earshot and over to the officer.
Well, she could be telling the truth. I spent last Christmas with George and Libby. I gave them this flask, along with a quart of Dalmore.
The officer smells the flask.
It's Dalmore, all right. She could have stolen it. Everyone knows the Colonel fancies working girls.
She knows about Buffalo Calf Road woman. That's inside information.
It can't be true. It's against the law for a woman to be in the Army.
George Armstrong doesn't give a gee's wax about laws. The fact that she knows the Indians mutilate the bodies so they'll have to walk the earth eternally, never getting into heaven, is curious. That ain't common knowledge.
News to me, all right.
Can you let her out?
Not without Captain Oates' orders. Will you leave for Deadwood today?
Well, if her information is on the up and up, it wouldn't be safe to travel with less than 100.
I'm sure you'll be able to find some scarlet women and more than a few poker games to pass the time.
Wild Bill hands the officer a coin.
See to it she gets a hot meal.
Interior, Fort Laramie Courthouse, day. Calamity Jane, dressed in an oversized hoop skirt and bonnet, squeezes through the door into the courtroom. An officer leads her to a seat. Calamity Jane maintains an aura of feminine sensuality.
I'm crippled by this silly fashion.
Lucky for you, Captain Oates' wife saves her old clothes for the poor.
She ain't doing them any favors.
Well, you look like a proper lady.
All rise for Judge Ringer.
The courtroom stands as the judge enters. Wild Bill Hickock enters, removes his sunglasses, and takes a seat.
It says here you were arrested for wearing pants and impersonating a scout in the U.S. Army. Is this true?
The officer whispers to Calamity. She stands.
I'm a scout in the U.S. Army.
The audience gasps.
I have a document claiming you are the outlaw Calamity Jane. You are wanted for horse theft, cattle rustling, robbing an outpost, being a road agent, robbing a man at gunpoint, being drunk and disorderly, shooting up a honky-tonk, and riding a bull buck naked down Main Street in Cheyenne's 4th of July parade. Is this true?
The audience gasps louder.
I stand by my actions, whatever they may be, but I am indignant when statements are made that have no truth or foundation.
So it's not true.
I stole a horse.
Penalty for horse theft is hanging.
Mr. Brinkerhoff bought me from the orphan train. He kept me tied up like a mule. I saw an opportunity, and I ran for the hills, meaning I jumped on his horse and skedaddled.
The audience laughs.
Can you pay the $50 fine?
I can trade for the cash.
Wild Bill stands.
I'll pay the fine for the lady.
Calamity turns around, gazes into his blue eyes. She smiles broadly, exposing her missing teeth.
Free the prisoner. Court's adjourned.
Exterior Fort Laramie Courthouse Day. A crowd gathers outside as Calamity Jane tries to sneak away in her embarrassing costume. Wild Bill spots her.
Calamity Jane, wait up.
Thank you for your kind generosity. I'm not one to accept charity.
Well, it's not every day I can help out a fellow armor scout.
You believe me?
Well, we got confirmation this morning that Colonel Custer and his men were wiped out at Little Bighorn. It was verified that his body was the only one not butchered. My apologies for doubting you.
Accepted.
I've set up camp with my friends if you care to join us. We could use a cook.
I need to get myself to Deadwood. I gotta find my friend and family.
Well, that's where we're headed, once we've rounded up 100 folks. With the natives fired up, it's best not to travel in small numbers.
I don't know if I can rustle up anything but buzzard food while I'm wearing this dang bird cage.
Well, they got an outpost across the yard.
I'm flat broke.
I'm happy to spring for a new get-up.
I wouldn't let you do that. I already owe you for my freedom.
Doesn't hurt to look. By the way, my name is James Butler.
They start to walk across the parade ground to the outpost.
You changed your name, too?
What's your real name?
Martha Jane Cannery. Calamity Jane is my sovereign title.
Wild Bill laughs.
Slang for the Queen of Spades?
That's right. I'm royalty.
I'm just a jack of clubs.
No, you're a king. Fastest gun in the West.
Maybe once. Now I'm just a knave with an ace up his sleeve.
Wild Bill pulls an ace out of his sleeve.
A scallywag, but a king just the same.
She looks at him adoringly. Interior Fort Laramie Outpost Day. Calamity struggles to get through the door. She stops in front of a fringed buckskin suit, admires it with desire. She gazes sadly into a cheval mirror.
I'm a fright. I lost my smile and most of my hair.
Bill picks up a cowboy hat and plops it over her bonnet.
Well, they got plenty of hats, and you can smile with your mouth closed. No one will be the wiser.
She removes the hat and looks at the price tag.
I can trade you for cash.
You're not a sporting gal.
I've got the head of a dead Indian. They'll pay $50 for it in Deadwood.
Yeah, who, the head of an Indian that fought at Little Bighorn?
It was me or him. I couldn't throw away $50.
Tarnation, woman, I'll pay $200 for that Indian head.
$200. You got a deal.
Wild Bill Hickock driving into Deadwood with an Indian head hanging from his wagon. It'll be on the front page of every newspaper from San Francisco to New York.
Exterior Fort Laramie, Wild Bill's campsite, early morning. Calamity wakes inside a wagon. She pops her head out, sees Wild Bill striding from camp. She jumps up, follows him wearing boots, straight skirt, shirt, California cowgirl. Wild Bill, wearing dark glasses, heads toward a clearing. Exterior clearing continuous. Wild Bill finishes a bottle of whiskey, sets it on a tree stump, turns and walks 50 paces, navy colts in his waistband. He spins around as the bottle unexpectedly shatters. He sees Calamity Jane at 100 paces.
Why, that's as near a first-class shot as I've ever seen.
Calamity walks closer.
I'm a first-class shooter. Is where you head every morning?
I need practice. I've always shot well, too, even as a boy. If I can use a dime as my mark, with bets of $50 a shot, I can make a bundle once I get to Deadwood.
Got a dime on ya?
Wild Bill searches his pockets and pulls out a deck of cards.
Just my California Bible.
Go ahead. Toss up a card.
Wild Bill throws a card in the air. Calamity Jane draws her pistol and fires 3 rounds. Wild Bill picks up the card, Jack of Clubs, and holds it to the sky, revealing 3 holes.
You sure made that look easy.
Like licking butter from a knife.
Wild Bill puts his arm around her affectionately.
You're my kind of gal, Calamity. We'd make a good team.
They head back to camp. She looks up into his eyes and gives him a big smile, missing teeth and all. Exterior, Fort Laramie, Wild Bill's campsite, night. Wild Bill and his friends play poker by the fire. Calamity Jane sits nearby, soaking a bullwhip in kerosene.
You planning on becoming a buckaroo when we get to Deadwood?
I plan on betting flesh miners a small sum to extract a piece of fabric from their trousers at a distance of 12 feet without so much as disturbing their flesh.
She stands up and lights the whip on fire, whirling it gracefully several times around her head. She releases it straight out at Wild Bill, then snaps it back with a quick jerk. The fire is extinguished. Wild Bill notices a piece of fabric missing from his sleeve.
I didn't feel a thing.
Think folks in Deadwood will pay 50 cents a pop for my performance?
God dang it, girl. My friend Bill Cody would pay big money for your talents in his traveling Wild West extravaganza.
Calamity coils up her whip, sits down next to Bill.
You trying to get rid of me?
I was thinking maybe we should join together, like a team.
Calamity Jane's eyes open wide.
You mean like the Wild Bill and Calamity show?
Wild Bill is deep in his poker hand. He shakes his head.
That's a good idea, don't you think?
Calamity is elated.
Yeah, I think it's a super idea.
You're a winner, Calamity Jane, just like my hand.
He lays down his cards. The men throw down their cards in disgust. Wild Bill takes the pot. Exterior, Deadwood Forest outside Deadwood, South Dakota, day. Wild Bill and his wagon train enter the forest. The trees are all dead. It's hunting.
Must have been lightning set her ablaze.
We'll set up camp by Whitewood Creek over yonder. Easy to walk into town.
Exterior, Whitewood Creek campsite, day. Men clear brush and set up camp. Exterior, Whitewood Creek, day. Calamity and Wild Bill bathe in the crystal clear waters. They are playful young lovers.
I need to make a quick run to town.
Our grand entrance is tomorrow.
I've got some business to tend to.
Take care of it later.
I have to locate my newspaper friend, Burton. The last time I tried to send him a telegram, they said he'd been transferred to Deadwood. He'll only be gone an hour or so. He'll spread the word we're heading into town tomorrow.
She puts her arms around him. They kiss.
Okay, but I got something for you before you go.
Something for me?
A present. Come on, now's as good a time as any.
Exterior, Whitewood Creek campsite, day. They go to Wild Bill's wagon and he brings out a big box.
This is the second present of my whole life.
Come on, not even on your birthday?
My friend Burton gave me a gold nugget. I buried it with my mom. People get presents on their birthday?
Calamity Jane opens the box, finds the buckskins.
Well, I'll be.
Calamity enters the wagon, changes clothes. She reemerges in the sexy tight fringed buckskin pants and fringed jacket.
Hoo-wee, I got me a rip-roaring cowgirl.
She kisses him.
I was dreaming of these. I'm wearing my new fandangos to town.
Interior, Black Hills Daily Pioneer, day. Calamity enters the newspaper office to an overjoyed Burton. They embrace, screaming and dancing.
Burton, I've been yearning to see your face for so long.
I got a big pile of money with your name on it. What happened to your teeth and hair?
I got scalped that little bighorn. Are you the one said I shot up a honky-tonk?
That wasn't me.
I hope you wasn't the one told folks I was drunk and unshucked riding a bull up the center of Cheyenne.
Burton laughs.
No, but I did give Mr. Wheeler the right to use your name. He sends a royalty check every month for his dime novels. Now tell me, what were you doing at Custer's Last Stand?
I've got bigger news, Burton. I want you to put it on the front page.
That big, huh? Go on.
Me and Wild Bill are being in love. We're set to parade through Deadwood tomorrow at noon.
Burton looks concerned. He doesn't share her excitement.
You can't mean Wild Bill Hickock.
The one and only.
Burton is speechless.
He calls me his diamond in the rough. What's the matter, Burton? Ain't you happy for me?
I'm surprised, that's all.
I'm sure he'll be asking to marry me. I want you to give me away.
Me?
Of course you. Who else? Why do you look so stumped?
Burton is tongue-tied.
I'll be right back.
Exterior, Whitewood Creek campsite, night. Wild Bill sits playing cards, smoking a big cigar that has a large ash at the end. He sees Calamity Jane enter camp.
Finally, we're starving.
He puts the cigar in his mouth as he draws 2 cards. He looks up to see Calamity holding a gun on him. She shoots, knocks the ash off of his cigar, starts to cry.
You're lucky I love you more than I hate you.
Calamity Jane turns away, runs to the wagon. He follows her.
Sugar pie, I was only joking about being hungry.
Calamity Jane sobs. He tries to console her. She pushes away. She takes out a piece of paper tucked in her breast, tears it up, throws it at him. It's a picture of Wild Bill on the front page of Harper's New Monthly.
You said we was peas in a pod.
We are, sweetheart. You're my better half.
You're married, James Butler. You're married. I saw it in the newspaper. Wild Bill Hickock takes a bride.
Wild Bill is shocked, dismayed, and busted.
You know the papers will say anything for a nickel.
Don't try and bluff your way out of this.
All right, I made a mistake. I knew that the minute I met you. I can get out of it, I swear.
A mistake?
I've made lots of mistakes, Calamity.
You said I was your girl.
Look, I'm a downright dirty dog. I became a lawman so's I could shoot who I pleased and get away with it. I slept with my best friend's wife. I cheated at cards. Trust me, plenty of people want me dead.
I'm one of them.
I can fix this. I was only married 2 weeks before I wanted out and headed for Fort Laramie. She's a good woman. She'll understand.
No woman understands betrayal.
Everyone was telling me I was getting old, pressing me to settle down. She'd been asking me to marry her for some time. It's you I love, Calamity. You know I ain't lying.
How would I know that?
Because for the first time in my life, I'm thinking about someone else besides myself. Please, let me make this right for us.
Calamity collects her thoughts.
I'll ride into town with you tomorrow. Folks are expecting us, but I'll be checking out of Deadwood pronto. You can look me up when you make things right.
He goes to embrace her.
Leave me be.
She climbs inside the wagon, closes the drape. Exterior, Whitewood Creek campsite, day. Calamity Jane, attired in buckskin, soaks 2 bullwhips in a bucket. Wild Bill is hitching up the horses.
You always soak your crackers in kerosene?
It's a special occasion.
Charlie says folks are lining the streets.
Wouldn't want to disappoint them.
This is going to work out for us, sweetheart.
She doesn't respond.
We're meant to be together.
Hang your Indian head and get this parade riding through the gulch.
Exterior, Wild Bill's wagon, day. Calamity Jane watches Wild Bill remove the Indian head from the leather satchel. He unwraps it from its buckskin sheath. He proudly hangs the head by its long hair from the front top rim of his wagon. Calamity jumps up on the horses' backs, straddles them.
Sit beside me.
Hand me my whips.
He wipes down her whips and hands them over. Exterior, trail into Deadwood, day. The wagons begin the procession into town. The main street, not more than 300 feet, is packed with revelers. They hold welcome banners for Wild Bill and Calamity Jane. Calamity Jane takes a matchstick, scrapes her boot sole. The match ignites. She sets her bullwhips on fire. Calamity Jane leads the spectacle. She gracefully sweeps her flaming bullwhips into figure eights, cracking them over the delighted crowd. Interior Saloon Number 10, day. Drinking, dancing, poker are the agenda of the celebration. Calamity Jane and Burton have a drink at the bar. Wild Bill plays poker at a nearby table.
That was an extravaganza performance. My photographer got some good photos.
I'm giving thought to joining the Wild West show in New York.
Running away, are you?
I need to get away and process the bad news. Do me a favor. Pretend like you're sweet on me.
I am sweet on you.
She pushes Burton like he's teasing her. She looks to see if Bill is watching. Bill flashes angry glances at her.
Come on, side up to me.
Burton plays along.
I had good news and bad news for you yesterday.
She pretends to shoot him with her finger.
Pow! I could use some good news.
Wild Bill tries to concentrate on his game.
He's such a bloody fool. He knows he's supposed to sit with his back to the wall. He's just trying to aggravate me. What's the good news?
I located your brother, Elijah.
Calamity's mood changes. She hugs Burton.
You're an angel. Where is he?
Wyoming.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna ride the rails for a while, get my teeth fixed, and visit my baby brother.
They toast. A look of horror comes over Calamity's face. She catches a man's reflection in the mirror behind the bar. She spins around, lunges toward him.
No!
The man brazenly walks up behind Wild Bill, shoots him in the back of the head. Bill falls over, exposing his hand. A king of diamonds, 2 black eights, and 2 black aces. The dead man's hand. Fired up from adrenaline, the man yells as he runs from the saloon.
I shot Wild Bill! Jack McCall shot Wild Bill Hickock! Jack McCall shot Wild Bill Hickock dead!
Exterior Saloon Number 10, continuous. Calamity Jane pursues him as he tries to escape by jumping on a horse, whose saddle is unhitched. He falls off. She grabs him. He breaks free, runs into the butcher shop. Interior Deadwood Butcher Shop continuous. Calamity Jane throws knives at Jack McCall. People try to subdue her.
You're gonna die now, Jack McCall.
He slips out of sight and escapes. Calamity Jane falls to the floor and weeps.
Wild Bill is gone.
Exterior Mount Moriah Cemetery, day. The cemetery is full of mourners for Wild Bill. Calamity Jane, sobbing violently, is supported by Burton.
We stand here to honor the passing of James Butler Hickock, a courageous man, gunned down in his prime.
Calamity Jane whispers to Burton through her tears.
Dude's going blind.
Known to the world as Wild Bill Hickock, a legend in his own time. He was more famous than President Grant. Wild Bill killed over 100 men. His motto was shoot to kill, and in the name of bringing law and order to his savage frontier, he did just that. May he rest in peace.
The preacher hands Calamity Jane a shovel. She tosses some wild flowers into the grave, lays the first dirt on the coffin. Fade out.